Welcome back, brothers and sisters. I am Braden. This is Langley Outdoors Academy, and thank you for stopping by. Alright guys, the content today, this is a really good video, and as I was researching this, a few things came together, and it made a really elegant point that I think we can really spread to the gun community and outside of the gun community, because these are the types of conversations and data points that we can bring people to our side. Of course, keep in mind that not the far left. The far left is really ingrained in the gun control as the only way. I'm talking about the everyday Democrats, the everyday people who are right in that middle zone, who are not bad people. They just don't know the data points we do, and it's our job to reach out to them, but this is a great video for that. Now, before I get into it, I've got a few articles. I'm going to link them in the description box below, as always, so you guys can make sure I'm on my game, make sure I'm not leading you astray. But the one thing I want to say is, guys, I'm in the final beta testing of the program I've kind of been teasing, the product that's coming out on this platform, and I can officially say it'll be ready by June 1st. So if you're not subscribed, please help us get over that 300,000 mark, because we're this close, and also get on the newsletter in the description box below, because I think this program has the ability to really change the gun world, something that hasn't been done in about 20 years. Not trying to overhype it, and I promise I'm not going to start selling coffee. But enough of that, let's get right into the content. So, the title of this article that I'm going to read you, as it really started me on this direction, was "A Startling Surge in LA Bloodshed as COVID-19 Fades. Too Many Guns in Too Many Hands." Okay, so this is an article from the LA Times. Again, everything is linked in the description box below. This article is all about guns and the gun violence that's increasing in Los Angeles. Now, to set this up properly, I have to tell you guys, if you're not familiar, Los Angeles has some of the most strict gun control laws on the books. They're right there with Chicago and New York. Okay. Ironically, all three of those places have a lot of gun crime. But let's talk about the quotes here. I'm going to throw up on screen for your review, and then we'll dive into the analysis, okay? All right, so the first quote I've got for you. According to Los Angeles Police Department data, the city as of Saturday had seen 465 shootings since January 1st, an almost 67% increase over the same period last year. Homicides at 115 as of Sunday were up more than 26%, okay? 67% in gun violence, 26% increase overall in homicides, okay? Now, again, keep in mind, there's no guns, there are guns, but it's extremely restrictive gun rights in Los Angeles, okay? So it doesn't really make sense. They're actually questioning why this is happening. Now, this is where it gets interesting. You always say the cause. What's the reason? They actually say it in this article. Police say gangs were often to blame. Disputes at homeless encampments were another major factor. Victims have included people shot during robberies, drivers randomly shot in their cars, and pedestrians gunned down on the street. Okay, it's random inner-city violence. That's straight and simple. This is not a gun problem, this is a crime problem, okay? Now, here's the last part that I thought was really drives home the point. So check this out, and then we'll go globally, because that's where it gets really fascinating. Preliminary data from the LA County Sheriff's Department show that homicides in the surrounding areas have increased by more than 113% in the first 3 months of this year, with 64 killings compared to 30 during the same period in 2020. Aggravated assaults with guns, including shootings, jumped 82% during that time, from 255 to 465. Now, it doesn't take a genius to see that there's seriously a problem in LA. Just like there's a problem in Chicago, just like there's a problem in New York. The gun rights that are being restricted are not helping. In fact, the gun problem is only going up, because it's not a gun problem, it's a people problem. It's a civilian problem, acting out bad problems that they have on other people using guns as the tool. Now, this is where it gets fascinating, because then you start going globally, and I tied a few articles together here. In Brazil, actually tonight, there were 25 people killed in a Rio de Janeiro shootout with the police. 25 people. This is a battle. This is not a shootout, okay? Here's what happened in Rio. At least 25 people, including a police officer, have been killed in a shootout in Rio de Janeiro, according to local media. Police launched the operation after receiving reports that drug traffickers were recruiting children for their gang. Okay, there's gang violence again. 25 people died in a shootout with the police, okay? Now let's hop over on the other side of the globe. Totally different side of the globe, China. This week, this is actually really sad. 2 children killed, 16 people stabbed at China kindergarten. Stabbed at China kindergarten. And now this, listen to this reference in this article. Past years have seen numerous such attacks, usually perpetrated by people who were described as mentally or emotionally disturbed, or who bore grudges against the owners of such facilities. Experts say China lacks sufficient capacity to diagnose and treat people with such conditions. The country tightly restricts access to guns, so knives are almost always used in such attacks. All right, so now to tie this all together, you've got cities in America, in the United States, Los Angeles, Chicago, New York, all experiencing violent gun crime, or violent crime using a gun, however you want to phrase it. Then you hop down to South America, Rio de Janeiro. You've got a shootout with 25 people dead with the police officers because of gang activity in drug and kidnapping and all sorts of organized crime. You go over to China where there are no guns allowed. By the way, Brazil is also extremely restrictive on gun rights. You go to China and you've got no guns and you've got people stabbing entire kindergarten buildings full of people. The core line here, guys, is this is a people problem. This is not a gun problem. And we do not need to even entertain the idea of giving up our own personal rights to our safety in our Second Amendment, which is a blessing in this country, to stop something that is being exhibited in the exact same way using different tools in different parts of the world. This is the key point that we have to drive home. The people who are in the middle on the political spectrum of this, they are not the enemy. They are people who can be brought into the fold because this type of stuff paints a very clear picture. We just covered it on this channel in about 3.5 minutes. Share this out and imagine what it can do if you just do sharing. Or if you go out and have this conversation with people who are on the fence in a calm, concise manner. This points to a really good outcome for the Second Amendment. We just need to reinforce it. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't think that the far left who are really adamant on gun control are all of a sudden going to look at data and go, oh, well, we were wrong. Never mind. Let's keep the Second Amendment. Let's focus on other issues. That's not going to happen. But the people who are in the middle, the independents and the everyday normal Democrats are not as far left, and they can be reached with stuff like this because it's their rights that we're protecting as well, even though they don't know it yet. And that's the big thing I want to bring to you guys. Let me know what you think in the comments field below. Did I string this together effectively for you? Did it make sense in the fight that we're having for our rights and driving it forward? Because brothers and sisters, we are going to pass this blessing along to the Second Amendment to the next generation. And until tomorrow, I'm Braden. See you later.